Hey friends, I just watched a TED Talk on YouTube by Amie McNee, and she said some things that really spoke to a lot of things I've been struggling with, some of which I've talked about on this channel because it was related to making this channel, and that is sometimes things right now can feel very frivolous, very distracting, but in like a negative way. Um, because, as she put it, the world is literally and figuratively on fire. And I know a lot of people, she mentioned it in the TED Talk, and I know personally that it can feel like, how can I be creating a YouTube channel? How can I be doing diamond painting? How can I be working on silly fiction stories? How can I be insert thing here uh, while the world is what it is? And it can feel really selfish to be doing these things, and it can be we can beat ourselves up about it. And I struggled with, well, is now the right time to make a YouTube channel? Is this gonna come across as really super tone deaf, that like I'm finding little, what feels like trivial ways to thrive in my own life, um, and talking about it on the internet? And so that was something I struggled with. I've struggled with getting back into some different creative activities because I feel like if I'm not devoting all my attention to what's going on, then it's somehow ignoring or burying my head in the sand or whatever. But anyway, Amy's Tech Talk really helped me to look at things in a different way, and I'm going to link it below because I really think you should go watch it. Basically, she talks about how creativity and art specifically, but I think this applies to any creative adventure, um, is important, and even more important right now. And she discusses a lot of why, and explains how she feels that art is activism. And that's something that I've heard before, but I've always kind of been like, yeah, but I don't write activist stories. My art is not activism. And what I really took from her talk, or what it like inspired in me, is parallel to how I treat, you know, I talk a lot about my hobby of diamond painting on the channel so far, so I'm going to use that as an example. But similar to how I treat that, or not treat it, but my outlook on that, my philosophy on that. For me, it's not about the product, it's about the process. The process is what is really important to me, what makes me feel good, what is regulating. Yeah, my diamond painting is done, so far I've just given them to other people who might want to display them. I don't really display them in my own home, and when it's done, it's done. It was really more about the process of going through that craft for me. And I think that, again, what I took from that TED Talk is that the product of our creativity, the product of our art, the product of, and I really want to use creativity because this could be any kind of art that, maybe you're not even labeling it as art. Maybe you feel like it's a craft or a hobby, but really it could be cooking, it could be knitting, it could be diamond painting, it could be writing, it could be restoring furniture, any sort of activity that uses that creativity. Anyway, the product of our creativity isn't necessarily, sometimes it is, but most of the time, the product of our creativity isn't the activism. The act of creating and being creative is the activism. The activism is in the process. Because in the process, when we are being creative, when we are accessing that part of ourselves, we are connecting with our humanity. And right now, so many of the powers that be in the world, the capitalist oligarchs, the authoritarians, they want us to feel hopeless and depressed. They want us to just be another data point in the capitalist machine. They want us to feel disconnected from each other, for sure, but also from our humanity. And when we are being creative, when we are accessing that deep part of the human experience that is creativity, we are engaging in activism. Yes, there are other more active, more outward facing things that we can do as well. But we have to do the things that help us feel joy, that help us see a world beyond where we are right now. That maybe it helps others as well. Maybe it helps other. Oh, sorry for shaking you. I'm sorry. You're okay. We're okay. Maybe our art and our creativity helps others as well. I hope so. But it doesn't always have to be that way either. Amie in her TED Talk talks more about how it can help others, and she articulates that and this whole concept way better than I ever could. But it was something that I've been playing around with in my brain and really couldn't articulate. I couldn't put words to, and she really did, and I wanted to kind of share that. Again, I'll put the link down in the comments, but also just really share my own thoughts that came from that, which mostly I've already done, but that last piece that I wanted to talk about was that so the book that I have several books that I'm working on right now, but the one that I'm actively spending the most time on right now is not at all, an activism book. There's not themes of that. There's not some sort of underlying, I don't know, message, I guess. It's just a fun book and a world that occurred to me that I wanted to get on paper. And by doing that, a couple things are happening. I'm connecting with myself, connecting with creativity, connecting with that human part of me, and not losing sight of why we should what we're fighting for, I guess. Because as much as, like, things are real dangerous out there, and more for some people than others. I know that I have a whole lot of privilege, that my actual life and safety are currently not in danger, while others are, very much are. And we have to have ways that we can connect with the reasons that life's worth living, that we should be fighting for a better world. Again, I'm not articulating this very well, but she really did, so go watch that. I've lost my train of thought. But basically, I just think that we have a lot of work to do. We can't continue doing the work if we are not connecting to our humanity and connecting to the things that bring us joy, the things that show us that there is a world beyond this. We can create and survive to the world beyond this, and we should. And lastly, the second thing I was gonna say is that that she mentions in the TED Talk is all the time that we're putting toward our creativity is more time that we're spending away from social media, away from she says, that's hours that you're not giving to Zuckerberg. It's hours you're not giving to Zuckerberg. That's hours you're not giving to Bezos. That's hours that you are giving to yourself, that you're giving to those you choose to share your creativity with. And I like to be social online too. I haven't used Facebook or Amazon since February, for personal reasons, but personal political reasons. But I'm pretty active on Discord, and I watch a lot of YouTube and whatnot, and so I there is totally time and place and room for being social on the internet. I'm not dissing that at all. But we should be giving just as much time to the things that creative adventures. We should give time to creative adventures, time to ourselves, time to share with others, that whether the product is activism or not, the process is refusing to let go of your humanity and sharing that with others, sharing that boldness, that braveness to continue thriving despite everything they want to take from everyone. And that's, as far as my channel goes, I think that it's really about the first two words, the simply striving. Because thriving It's going to be something different to everyone. It means something different to me than it does to you, than it does to my mom, to Michelle Obama, to the young man standing on the street with a "will work for food" sign. Everybody has a different what thriving means in their life at the point in their life they are in their circumstances. But it's the first two, the simple steps we can take to strive, to try, just as hard as it is right now in this world. We have to simply strive to keep thriving. Hold on to our humanity. Hold on to our love of one another. Let love win. Yeah. So, I'm sure I have more to say, but I think I've rambled enough, and really you should watch the video that's probably shorter than this one. So I'll link that, and I'm gonna go off and do some writing, and I hope you find something creative to do too. Keep on striving to thrive.